weekend we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, died with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me.
Hi everybody, it's Alicia here and welcome to my live questions and answers. I hope that you are enjoying the summit so far and that you've had the opportunity to browse through some of the tutorials and have a little bit of a watch and maybe a little bit of a play and created some beautiful cards with your Cricut. I'll just show you my cards in case you aren't exactly sure which ones they are. In my class, we're making 3 peony cards, peony flower cards. This is one of them here. You can make them in any color you like. That is one of the great things about the Cricut, that you can really customize every project to suit you. So if you're not a pink or a purple color person, you can change your cards to orange or whatever colored flower you like, red. And so in my class, we go through and I show you how to make this project in Cricut Design Space and put it all together. I've got the little paper at the back of the cards. The gingham paper is a free download, so you can print that off and create these cards exactly as they are here. Teresa says, how do you post those? Do you know I get that question a lot? These cards are quite bulky. They are. As you can see, there's quite a large flower on the front of the card. So if you were to post this, then you'd have to just put a little bit of bubble wrap around the card and then pop it into an envelope that fits. So it does turn into a little bit more like a present than a card. And that's just the way I tend to make cards. I make them very bulky and not so flat, which does cost you a little bit more in the post, but makes them a bit special. The Mother's Day cards that I posted our mothers just recently were very bulky. So I just wrapped them in bubble wrap, and then I actually wrapped them in tissue paper and put a bow around it. So it does sort of turn the card into a present on its own. However, you could just hand give this card instead of having to post it. You could just give it to the person, or you could even just stick it to a present. Like if you've got a gift for somebody, you could just stick that onto the present. So yeah, they do cost a little bit more to post due to the thickness of the flower. That is true. And a lot of my cards are like that. I really do like to create cards with height. The other thing that you can use these flowers for is you could make these smaller or bigger depending on what you're using it for. So if you wanted to create a small flower to embellish a card, you could change the size of this flower and cut it down smaller just so that it's on the corner of your card for embellishment. Or you could make it really large and create a wallflower for your craft room. So there's a few different options, and this flower is actually quite fun and easy to create. Yes, so Brenda's saying, love the designs. Are the flower files downloadable? Yes, they are. So this is a Cricut Design Space project. So if you go to my class video and you just go sort of a little bit lower down past the video, you'll see all of the links. And I've had a few questions already about where can I get the gingham background paper. The file for Cricut Design Space is on one of those links, so you can just click on that, it'll take you straight there, and the paper is there as well. So just go directly to the class and then scroll down a bit and you'll see all of the class downloads. Yeah, and you don't want to miss those downloads because every speaker has downloads and things. So really take the time to learn your way around the Cricut Card Summit, because there's lots and lots of things and freebies and live streams that you can catch. Are these peonies your design or a Design Space card? No, these are not my design. These are just in Design Space. These are a flower that anyone that has Design Space can use. It is in the paid version, so you do just have to sign up to Cricut Design Space for the paid version, and then it's one of the paid version cut files, so anybody can access it. In Design Space, it is a headband. It's a peony headband, so you attach the flowers to a headband. But I've put my project in there as a sort of little take on the design. If you search my name, you can also find it that way. And then the flowers, you can just cut them on the Cricut and create your card. So that's all there for anybody to use. Patty is saying maybe try it with felt and make a barrette or a pin and a brooch there. So you could certainly do that. It's it'd look really pretty in felt, and I have actually never cut felt on my Cricut before, but you can most certainly do it, and there's lots of different materials that you can cut on a Cricut machine. And I found the trickiest thing, if you've watched the video for my card, is this little flower center here. I had a little bit of trouble cutting it out because it's such a fine cut. But I do go through in the class video how you can sort of troubleshoot that. And that's really the hardest part of the card. Everything else is really quite easy and suitable for beginners. So if you haven't used a Cricut machine before, you can most certainly create this card. It's not a difficult card to create. Tammy says, I don't know if I missed it in the video, but how many layers did you use for the middle part? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. So I've made these flowers a couple of times, and interestingly, both times I made the flowers, I put the petals on in a different order because I found that the instructions that go with the project were quite difficult to understand. So I was just guessing with the order of the petals. So I would encourage you to have a little play around with the order of your petals and even how many layers you want to add in, because you can customize the flower. So depending on what order you put the petals creates a slightly different shaped flower. And obviously, if you didn't want it to be quite as bulky, then you could add less layers. So I guess you don't have to really do it exactly. You can modify it to suit you. Can you add more layers to your flower if you want? Of course you can. Yes, you could make it extremely bulky and voluminous. It could be a beautiful flower. So yeah, it's up to you. That's one of the great things about using a Cricut machine is there is no limit to the creativity that we can achieve with these machines, and everybody's project is going to be different and unique because we all have our own unique creativity. And if you are sort of just starting out with the Cricut and maybe you haven't used it a lot before and you're doing this summit because maybe you're interested in purchasing a Cricut, or you've always heard about the word Cricut and you've never really known what it's about, I just wanted to remind you that it's okay to make a mistake with your Cricut. We all make mistakes on our Cricut, and we all make mistakes when we're learning something new. So I don't want you to give yourself a hard time if you're doing a project and you're not experiencing success the first time, because we don't all experience success the first time. There is many times where I have spent a whole day creating a Cricut card only to come to the end of the day and just throw it in the bin. Because everybody, it's a trial and error, and we can't give ourselves a hard time when we're learning something new. That if we make a mistake, it's part of the learning process. And I think as adults, we often forget that. Like children are always learning new things and they're used to making mistakes and you're used to being corrected. But as adults, I think that unless we're starting something new, we're not used to making mistakes. So I just wanted to remind everybody, especially if you're new to Cricut card making, that it is okay to have failures, and we all have a failed card, and we keep trying, and we don't sort of it's easy to just think, oh, there's something wrong with me, I can't create that card. That's not the case. It might just be a small little error that you have to fix, and then you'll have success. So I encourage you to keep trying, even if you are experiencing some difficulty. Think of me. If you're having trouble, I want you to remember me and remember that I said I have had days where I seriously have worked all day on a card and not been happy with it at the end of the day. But these projects in the Cricut Card Summit are tried and tested. Okay, we've all been there and we've tried our best to get rid of all of the problems that you might face so that you can go through the class and have success and create cards with your Cricut machine, hopefully without too many mistakes or discouragements. Okay. Hi, Susan asks, I did not recognize the glue you were using in the video. Can you share which ones you like to use? Sure. I get this question a lot. I'm from Australia, so I use an Australian glue, which is called Couture Creations. It's just over there. I'll just grab it for you. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. So Couture Creations is the glue that I use, which is an Australian company. Just try to get the thing. There we go. So this is the all-purpose art glue, and they also have a quick dry adhesive. The quick dry adhesive is very similar to Helmer's. So yeah, a little bit different to what a lot of other people use, but this one is really good for attaching flowers and ribbon and lace. It can get a little bit stringy. You can use it for paper as well, but it works really well on embellishments. This one is really good for paper. It dries flat. You don't get any bumpy sort of bits. So yeah, that's what I use. I'm not sure of the availability over in America with that glue. That's what I have been using. Joyce asked me, do I make my envelopes? And if so, what size envelope would you use for this card? I don't actually make my own envelopes. I'd like to get into it though. I would really like to get into making my own envelopes, especially because you could use up all of your paper, like your 12 by 12 paper that you aren't using. I actually do have, actually, now that I say I don't make my own envelopes, I do have some tutorials on my blog for little boxes. I've made little boxes before, um, so that you can put the card in a box and then it becomes more like a gift. So on my free printables section, I have a free printables section you can sign up to. So all you need to do is put your email address on my website at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au, and then you can access all of my free printables. And I think there might be 2 different card boxes there that have a little box where you can make a box from a 12 by 12. Not using a Cricut, just cutting, but um, for this size envelope, I don't know. Let me measure. Do you want it in inches or centimeters? This ruler has centimeters, so it'd have to be at least 140 centimeters by 140 centimeters, but you'd have to have height. I think this would be more of possibly a box, or I'd just bubble wrap it and pop it in like a little bubble wrap bag that you buy at the post office. So I hope that helps. 5 minutes left. I couldn't find the design on Design Space. Is there another way to get it? So please feel free to email me if you have any questions. And you can't find something, or you're trying to download something and you can't download it, or your password isn't working. You should be able, if you look on the video of my class, I actually show you how you can type my name in, and then you can find it by searching my name, or you can find it you can just search peonies, and it'll come up it should come up, or you can go to the links below the class video and click that. But if you are having trouble, please feel free to email me and I can help you find whatever you need. I've already got some emails from people. I just wanted to point out that my website is having a little bit of trouble due to a lot of people being on it at the moment. So if you hop on my website and it's not loading, just try again a little bit later, because it's sort of going in and out, I think, with the inundation of people hopping on and downloading and stuff like that. Any other flowers that would work for this kind of card? Yes, so when I first wanted to make this card, Brandy, I actually wanted it to be a sunflower card. And you know how I was telling you about the first card that went in the bin? Well, that was the sunflower card. And then I changed to a peony card. So yeah, you could definitely change the flower to any type of flower that you can see in Cricut Design Space, or if you have your own SVG file that you'd like to use. This is such a basic card. It could be used for any purpose. Happy birthday, Mother's Day, thank you, sympathy card, anything like that. So exactly, you can most certainly change the flower. Your favorite flower might not be peony like mine is. Yours might be sunflower or rose or whatever you like. So you could put any cut flower there on the front of a card. It's such an easy card to make, and it can be used for any occasion. You could add a little sentiment down the bottom if you wanted to. You could just move that flower up slightly, pop a little sentiment down there that says happy birthday, and personalize the card, or you can leave the sentiment off and add it in later when you know who you're giving the card to. So I hope that you have, Brandy's asked, any events coming up? Wouldn't it be nice if I just had like a lot of parties that were coming up, like 21st birthday parties, weddings, all of those sort of things. But I know you're talking about events on my blog. Thank you for the question. So coming up on my blog, I'm currently looking into, I've had a couple of requests from people who would like to know how to make their own printables. So I do a lot of printables on my blog, and I've had some requests from some people who would like a little lesson on how to create their own printables. So the background of this card, I created this myself. So they'd like to know how to make background papers, and things like that for their card, particularly for people who are on a budget and would like to be able to make their own papers and print their own papers at home. So I'm currently working on a little classroom where we're going to go through some things like how to make your own printables. And the other thing that we're going to be looking at as well is how you can sell your own cards. So recently, we've had that question come up in our Facebook page, on our Facebook page and group, and we have lots of ladies in the group who are interested in selling the cards that they make. So coming up soon on my blog, we're going to have a little classroom area where you can come in and do some um, more focused learning on different topics that interest you with your card making. So that is what is coming up soon on my website, along with heaps of other tutorials and video tutorials and printables to hopefully inspire you to continue crafting and to help you with any of your crafting problems. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope that you enjoy the summit and that you take my class. If you do take my class, please share your project in the Facebook group so we can all see it and be inspired by your creativity. So thank you very much and have a lovely day, and enjoy Teresa's class coming up next.